I do call him Black Jesus.
Exactly.
Yep.
But I will never call him back.
That's disgusting. If you eat
No.
if you eat Hershey's bar for fun, you like golf balls in your mouth.
Really weird. So, I'm a really simple guy when it comes to women. What is wrong with you?
I ask myself that every day.
I don't know what the hell happened from the series before to the series with the Celtics.
It's my biggest conversation, and I hope we go viral with this one.
Princess Navarro.
You're drunk. You should not be drinking. You should not be drinking this early in the day, bro.
Buddy, I still got 30 minutes. I start drinking.
Did you miss us? Did you miss us? That is the question I want answered today. Because we are back. We are back. And what I want to tell you, D-Lo, and you at home watching, is welcome into your favorite show, your favorite podcast, the Gumball Sports Machine podcast, the show in which we love, we laugh, we hug, we cry, we smile, and most importantly, we are positive. I'm your host, Jamal Gumo, a.k.a. Gumball, a.k.a. Mr. You Know Gumo, and I'm joined by my dog, my boy, David Largo, a.k.a. co-host D-Lo, a.k.a. Flip Say Less. David Largo, you look fantastic. You feel fantastic. How are you, brother?
Listen, all I'm gonna say is before we came on the show, I went and grabbed my hat because I said my hair was looking pretty disgusting.
No.
And this man Jamal said,
Yeah.
so does mine. And this man has no hair. So that's how I'm feeling today. That's how I'm feeling today.
You know what? It's okay. It's okay. Because I'll give you a pass, D-Lo. Because
Yeah.
happy to see you. And there's something in my beard.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I've been trying to get it out for the past 10 minutes.
residue. Anyway.
Yeah, see, there you go. Oh my! This is a family-friendly show. And there you go with that nonsense. There you go. I gotta fix my camera. We're back.
Man,
We're back.
We're back.
And it feels good.
Go follow the Wax Show.
Yeah. Oh yes, we gotta get out of Wax Show.
We gotta get out of Wax Show.
Oh my
but
god.
no, listen, man, it's been good. School is finally out. I got out 2 weeks ago. I had to enjoy last week, first week off of class. I didn't do anything outside of work. Nothing. So yeah, I'm living a dream right now.
Yes. And last time I checked, D's are passing. So
I got straight A's last semester, but continue.
Sorry. Oh, all right. Well,
yeah.
Get another golf clap. That's what's expected around here, D-Lo. You don't get big claps for doing things that are expected.
Yeah. From the smart guy, the brains of the group, as we call me.
Yes, you are. You know what? That's fair. I have no argument there.
And I am.
Yeah. No, you absolutely are. I'm more the looks of the group. All right, let's move on. I don't want to answer. I don't want to follow.
And that was cool considering we got on the call and you called me sexy, but it's fine,
Well, hey, you know what? I'm just calling it how I see it, brother. You know what I mean?
Hey, same goes for you, brother.
Oh, you're too kind. You're too kind.
Too kind.
Yeah, all right. We might have to turn the camera. All right, no, let's move on.
More residue in the beard.
See, there you go. See, you nasty. See. Oh my god, people are probably watching this and saying, "Oh my, what am I?"
Oh my! Go follow the Wax Show if you want to see more stuff like that.
Okay, let's get into this game tonight, D-Lo. Let's get into this game. The Knicks come back in game 1 to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in game 1 and to beat them in overtime. D-Lo, I'm watching this game, and the first quarter, I'm thinking, "Oh, the Knicks are going to run away with this." The Knicks are playing bad. They weren't playing well in the first quarter, and they were still up somehow. And then the second quarter came around, and they completely fell off the cliff. And Cleveland took advantage, and they went up by 15, 16 points, and kind of was managing the game really, really well. Second quarter, third quarter. Then about midway through the fourth quarter, the wheels went off the train for the Cavs. They let off the gas. The Knicks came back. They tied the game. going into overtime. And this was such a back and forth game, D'Lo. What was your takeaways from game one? Again, in overtime, another overtime game. Obviously, we're going to talk about the Spurs and OKC here in a few minutes, but your takeaways from game one of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Listen, we were talking about it before we started. I didn't turn the game on after after the Cavs went up. I turned the game off. I wasn't watching the rest of the game. I'm like, yeah, this game's over. It's cool. I shouldn't have done it because apparently it turned into apparently it turned into a great game. But it you can you blame me? It was
No.
93-71 in the fourth quarter. I'm like, yeah, they're like we're done here. Um, and then the Knicks scored the Knicks scored 30-10 to close the game out. Like I don't know what to tell you. Um, no, I mean this is what Cleveland does. They are I've said it for so long that they're masterful choke artists. They're really good at it. I don't know how they made it this far. They should have lost in the first round, and then they definitely should have lost in the second round. And now here we are in the third round. And I said it again before the pod. I think that they get swept by New York. I don't think they win a game against this New York team, especially with how New York has been playing really all playoffs, to be honest. Like they've been ever since that second game in or that second loss in Atlanta.
Yep.
They haven't put their foot off the gas, and it looked like they did tonight, and then they put it right back on the gas pedal. I don't see them losing a game to any team in the East right now. I really don't. I don't see them having a challenge until they face up against any of those two in the West. And even then, I don't even know if the Knicks will be a competition for them either. And we'll talk about that later. But they've looked really, really good in the East. Obviously, they swept Philly. They beat the brakes out of the Hawks by like 50 plus on their last game there. And then they made this 20-point comeback when they really could have laid down, and they didn't. So, I mean, you got to give props to New York. Cleveland, we knew what we were going to get ourselves into when you get the James Harden experience. He's been quite terrible most of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because that's what he does. He had one or two good playoff runs, and everything else, he's kind of a stinker when it comes to the playoffs. And defensively, oh my God,
He's a cone. He's a sitting duck. He's a sitting duck defensively.
When I turned the game off, then when they were up 20, it was fine. But Jamal, obviously, shout out to that guy, was watching the game and was telling me that he was getting hunted every single play. And it's not like that's just a New York thing. Every other team was doing it. They hunt James Harden because
That's a universal thing.
He's a liability. And it's crazy because they have two. Because I would hunt Donovan Mitchell too. I would hunt him too.
Yeah.
He's not a great defender either.
Mm-mm.
They just had Darius Garland, who was more huntable before, and now you have James Harden, who is still more huntable.
Yeah.
Like Donovan Mitchell is just getting lucky. He's not safe.
He's the better of the worst defenders.
Yeah, and he is.
That's it.
And they kind of mask it during the regular season by hiding, Mobley and Allen on the back line so that it bolsters them. You can't do that during the playoffs, and especially not against New York, where Jared Allen is being drawn out to the three-point line by Cat, and Josh Hart and OG Anunoby are on the three-point line drawing out Mobley. You don't have that back line anymore, so Jalen Brunson gets to do whatever the hell he wants, and you saw that tonight. Yeah. You saw it. He got whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
So I don't think that the Cavs win a game in this series, and I would love for them to prove me wrong. But I just think that New York has too much for the Cavs to handle.
You wouldn't love that. You would love for them to get swept.
Oh, I would absolutely love it. I would be ecstatic. I'm running straight to the group chat. I should go respond to Kevin now that I think about it. He was in there talking to himself actually
Kevin,
about James Harden.
he may never show his face on this podcast again.
No, he
Kevin.
won't.
No.
And he won't.
No.
No. So Kev, if you're watching this, the Cavs suck and you shouldn't have traded for James Harden. I don't know what to tell you.
Real quick, on Gucci was in the comments and he's saying the same thing. He said, why did he leave James Harden in the game? At some point, it's like, okay, he can handle the ball, he can score the ball, but at some point, he's getting attacked every single possession, and it's not like they're trapping, right? Okay, oh snap, James Harden is on Jalen Brunson. Bring another defender and figure and rotate. And once you get two defenders on Jalen Brunson, okay, figure it out after that. But they were leaving him one-on-one. They weren't even attempting to trap and get the ball out of his hands. He also said Harden just sold the game for show. Somebody hit big tonight. He not even tried. He like facts. That's what it is.
Yeah.
James Harden almost single-handedly lost this game for them. Especially on the defensive end of the basketball.
And you see, the thing is that prime James Harden, you could leave on the floor because while he was getting hunted defensively, he was making up for it by dropping 40 points. He can't do that now.
No,
he can't do it.
No, he can't. And it sucks to watch because that was our childhood. And that was, 15, 16 years old watching James Harden go drop 35 a night and win the MVP. And to see what he is now, again, after Cleveland went out and traded for him mid-season, I don't know. I guess you could say it worked out because they're in the conference finals now, but I get the ultimate goal is a championship, obviously. But this might be on Kenny Atkinson. Leaving him in the game and not making the proper adjustments when the Knicks started making that run. And that's how they lost this game. D'Lo, what I think happened tonight, I think the Knicks just flexed their muscles. Saying we are the better team. Yes, we had some moments in this game where we were not good. That second quarter was horrible, D'Lo. The beginning of the third quarter was horrible. But then they got that switch. They hit that switch. And once they hit that switch, it was a wrap. Because they started executing late in the game. They got the ball to their best player, who was phenomenal tonight. Jalen Brunson was fantastic. And you gave him the ball. You made sure that you got the matchup he wanted with James Harden, and you just kept going to work. Defensively, D'Lo, this team is really good. The Knicks are. The Knicks are really, really good defensively, and they flexed those muscles tonight again too. This team, I was very wrong. I want to come on here and say, coming into the playoffs, I was so very wrong. Wrong.
Well, everyone but Kyson. Everyone but Kyson was wrong.
Who will be joining us momentarily, so be on the lookout for that. But Kyson called it before the season. He said the Knicks are the best team in the East. And I sat here and I disagreed with him. I said the Celtics were the best team in the East. I'm here to say right now, I was so very wrong. The best team in the East, and who has been the entire playoffs, is the New York Knicks. And I think they flexed their muscles today, and I think today was the best chance that the Cavs were going to have at winning a game in this series, D'Lo. Because I'm starting to lean towards your side of things, in which the Cavs might just get swept. I don't know if they're going to be able to win a game against this New York team, especially now that they are comfortable and they understand what they have to do and what they cannot do in order to win a game. And I think tonight they were rusty. It's been about a week since they played basketball. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they were coming off 11 games in 21 days. And they kind of had with them, it's the rest versus rust thing, D'Lo. It's okay. Do you want to give them, 7 days off after you sweep a team, but then not play a game for another week or so? Or do you want to play 11 games in 21 days and keep your rhythm intact? And tonight it looked like the rhythm was going to win, but the Knicks eventually, again, flexed their muscles and came out on top again in overtime. I mean, guys hit shots. Mikal Bridges has been, since that first series against Atlanta, Mikal Bridges has been fantastic for this basketball team, D'Lo. He has been really, really good. He hit 2 huge threes at the end of the game today. He hit 2 huge threes and made some huge defensive plays. He has been phenomenal for this basketball team ever since that first series. and he was a big reason why they won the game today. But I had mentioned Kyson. We need to bring him in. He is our expert analyst. He is our analyst that breaks down basketball and football better than everybody else. He is the number one analyst. He is our expert analyst. He is Killer Kyson. He has joined the studio. Kyson, how are you feeling, brother? Listen, for a huge day, for huge game ones of these conference finals.
Ooh-wee. Hey, we gonna get to that Spurs, but man, this game, two unbelievable games to start out. Today, I agree with everything what you said, Jamal. In terms of like the rust versus rest. I'm kind of disappointed in Cleveland, man. They had chances to close this game out. They had chances to take it away, but New York is a great team, and I'm scared of Cleveland because, like you say, Jamal, they were rusty. They haven't played in 9 days, 10 days.
Yeah.
So it's like that takes a toll on you. As for the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're coming off a very emotional high Game 7 series. And they just, again, they had the chance. Donovan Mitchell was great. James Harden didn't have his best game again, which is kind of concerning. Dennis Schroeder, 1 of 9. Dean Wade struggled. And they still took it to overtime. It is some encouraging, but at the same time, you're supposed to wrap this up in regulation. And I can honestly see the Knicks going 2-0 because they're going to get their feet under them. OG still coming back from the hamstring. As you said, Mikal was huge. Landry Shamet was huge. And that's what you need in the NBA playoffs. You need those others to do your thing. And obviously Brunson was amazing, 38 points. He's a playoff riser. Like, this dude takes his game to new heights in the playoffs. And I think it's time we start giving him credit, man. Like, this is second conference finals. And I said this months back. I think the Knicks will go all the way. Now, will they win? I think that's a different question. But this team, although they look rusty, although they looked like their feet wasn't under them, man, this is a dangerous team. And if I'm Cleveland, man, I have to come hitting hard in game 2.
You know what? Kyson, I want to build upon that with you because D'Lo and I were just talking, and you know what? I want to give you your props since you're here now. I was very wrong, and D'Lo admitted that he was very wrong coming into this playoffs. I sat here and I disagree with you, and I thought that the Celtics were the best team in the East. I thought the Celtics were going to run the East. I thought they were going to get back to the finals. I was very wrong, and we wanted to point out that you were right. You were very right about this team. The Knicks have been the best team in the postseason, the best team in the East in the postseason for the whole playoffs. What I want to ask you is, what did you see in this team that gave you confidence that they would be this good as they are right now?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that I didn't have some skepticism because we can go back on some pods, and I was saying how if I had to trust the Celtics and the Knicks more, I trust the Celtics a bit more just because they've already had this core and they've had this foundation versus the Knicks. I mean, you look at the regular season, it got pretty rocky. We heard Mike Brown rumors of him getting fired, Cat frustrated with the offense and things of that nature. But honestly, this team has surprised me on how they've turned it around in terms of just listening to each other, right? And I want to point out that Game 4 against Atlanta, Cat, he said, look, we need to do something different. Here's what we should do. And they've been doing it ever since, and they haven't lost a game since.
Yep.
So, like, this seems honestly surprising me, but what I did see is, again, Brunson, playoff riser. OG and Mikal. I give Mikal a streaky shooter, but his defense is undeniable. OG has stepped it up completely, and then I think the centerpiece of it all is, like I mentioned, is Cat. I mean, he's showing that, hey, Jokic, I can do it too, right? I can average 7-8 assists. I can still get 20 and 10, right? And he's ultra aggressive. He's getting back more on the block. He's not settling for threes. He's the catalyst for this team, and I think we're going to get to this as well against the Spurs and the Wolves. Man, they need a Cat. I think, obviously, they got rid of Cat because of salary reasons, but replace Cat with Randall, and that's a 7-game series easily. So kudos to Cat, kudos to OG Anunoby, Brunson, and the bench guys, Deuce McBride, Landry Shamet, Jordan Clarkson. Those dudes have stepped it up tremendously. and kudos to Mike Brown for trusting those guys, because last year Thibodeau he's playing 6 people max, and it showed. So I just seen that this team has playoff risers, great defenders, and then Cat has stepped up to the plate 100%.
And also real quick, if you're the Cavs, Kyson, what do you do with James Harden? Because he's not producing for you offensively. He is a sitting duck defensively. I mean, I'm sure you saw it, Kyson. Every single possession down the stretch of that game, it was Jalen Brunson and James Harden. Jalen Brunson and James Harden. Oh, James Harden isn't on Jalen Brunson. Mikal Bridges, where you at? Come set a screen so I get James Harden on you. And then he's not producing offensively the way that you expect James Harden to produce for you offensively. If you're Kenny Atkinson and the Cavs, Kyson, what do you do with James Harden?
Yeah, it's a tough call because at the same time he had a better plus minus than Donovan Mitchell. So, I mean, his gravity is still a thing offensively. 5 of 16 shooting, he had 5 turnovers, 6 turnovers. Not the prettiest game, no, but again, his gravity offensively, you just don't have that in your guard room for the Cavaliers. I mean, they only got Schroeder. Do you count Merrill as I think he's more of a 3. I don't really look at him as a 2. So is Dean Wade. So you only really have 3 guards total that's playable right now. And Schroeder was horrible also, 1 for 9.
Yeah, he was.
And plus minus is a tricky stat because he had a better plus minus than both of those guys. Yeah. Right? So it's
you don't think Keon's playable?
Keon, I checked his plus minus. I think he was like plus 9. When he was in the game, great things happen. But we need to score. And D'Lo, I think you pointed this out months ago about how it's no such thing as like no defense can stop these offenses nowadays. It's just about them getting unlucky, right? And Keon Ellis, if let's say, all right, he's playing good defense, but then we can't get a bucket out of him on like Oscar Thomas type of situation, and we need facilitating, we need shot making. I just don't think he provides that at a high enough level for the playoffs. But his defense, as Kevin has always said, is amazing. But for Harden, I would just say, man, he's got to pick it up. I mean, he's got to wake up. First conference finals in 8 years, and the last time he was in the conference finals, he had a decent game 7, although we missed 27 missed threes.
Yeah,
and then also game 7 against Detroit, 9-5. And I'm the biggest Hardest fan out there. So it's definitely disappointing, but I think he needs to play off ball more. Remember when Donovan Mitchell had 42?
Yeah,
that was because of James Harden.
Yeah,
he played fed the ball and then played off ball. He needs to get back to that, and that needs to be his role because Donovan Mitchell played great today. It's time to give all the offensive responsibility to Donovan and have Harden just play off that. I think that would be the best strategy. And defense is the defense.
Yeah, it's tough. It's Kaiser, we were talking about it a little bit before. It's like it's not like you have much better options defensively. I mean, Max Strus is an okay defender. Obviously, you guys mentioned Keon Ellis, but I mean, D'Lo, I think one of the more impressive things about the Knicks that I've seen so far this postseason is the depth that this team has. And I feel like if somebody needs a shot now, obviously the guy you want to go to is Jalen Brunson. You need a shot, you go to Jalen Brunson. But there's been so many guys that can get you a big time shot or a big time stop, whether it's been Landry Shamet today hit a 3 to tie the game. Mikal Bridges hit 2 back-to-back threes to tie the game and bring them back within 3, I think it was. OG Anunoby had a big play to get them within striking distance at the end of that game. How important, I mean, the depth of the Knicks has been super, super underrated, again, in their ability to help Jalen Brunson and Cat get to where they're at right now.
Yeah, it's been kind of nice actually. If you're New York coming off of Thibodeau, where you're running 6 or 7 guys max, and you're playing them 46 minutes a game, and like this, it wasn't sustainable before. But now you have this sort of influx of players where you can give your guys a break. You know what I mean? Like Landry Shamet played 17 minutes today. Like that just wasn't happening with Tibbs. Like it wasn't. So you have guys like Landry Schramm, and they have guys that they could still play, and they don't. Like Jose Alvarado had 7 minutes, and you're telling me
Yep.
that Jose Alvarado isn't good enough to get on the floor? Like
Jordan Clarkson hasn't even got off yet.
no, and he hasn't. So I think that's part of the biggest reasons why the Knicks are as good as they are, is that they have sort of the rotation to where these guys can get a break and they won't miss that much of a step. All right. Obviously, you're expecting some sort of decrease when, a guy like Brunson goes off the floor, or a guy like Cat goes off the floor, especially when with Mitchell Robinson, who is an awful free throw shooter.
Boy.
Is he awful?
Boy.
But
Hey,
he gives
Right.
you that
You
defensive
can turn that water off.
and rebounding that it's okay for a few minutes if you don't have him on the floor, especially if you keep Brunson out there where he is going to make most of the time anyway. I think it's okay, right? So
Yeah.
I think that Mike Brown getting creative with the lineups and rotating these guys in and out has really been helpful to the Knicks to not only you know
Yeah.
keep them fresh, obviously, but get these guys involved so that when they do need those players to lean on, they're still ready and available and not coming off the bench sitting 8 games in a row with no PT.
You got to spread the wealth. You got to spread the wealth, and you got to keep these guys in a rhythm. And I think Mike Brown has done a really good job in that, especially again with the depth that they've been able to use and how deep on their bench they've been able to go. He's been able to keep these guys in a rhythm, and so that when they come in, they know what to do when they have the basketball or when they don't have the basketball. Kyson, real quick before we move on, the Cavs, what do they need to do in Game 2 to tie the series up?
Need to shoot better. I mean, that's just what it comes down to, man. I mean, again, they had chances to close this game out, but they just couldn't make a shot. You gotta find an answer for Brunson. Put Strus on him. Stop letting James Harden switch. It was kind of like against Rockets versus the Lakers when Sengun is willingly picking LeBron up from 30 feet. Like, dude, he's gonna blow right past you. And he did every time. So I just think that they need to shoot better, one, find an answer for Brunson, and then run through Donovan Mitchell. He's been playing great. I think he's being the narratives of the playoff faller, and he's starting to rise to the occasion, but he needs help. Simple as that. And maybe try some new. Put some Jalen Tyson. He was solid. Tomlin, that dude was a great story during the regular season. Just try different options. This is the playoffs. I mean, this is do or die. So putting in an extra guy in the rotation maybe won't hurt.
D'Lo?
Let me tell you, the key is for Evan Mobley not to shoot 8 threes in a game.
He was. Hey, some of them, I'm like, dog. There is nobody in front of you. Even if you want to pump fake, and go to the rim.
The key is Evan Mobley not shooting 8 threes in a game. That guy is awful, and I've been saying it for so long. That guy is terrible. No, I mean, they just got to shoot better. And that's the thing that bothers me with Evan Mobley, though, is that why are you shooting? Like, Cat is obviously playing Jared Allen, so you're having a smaller guy in OG guarding you. What do you mean you're not on the block?
Yeah.
What do you mean you're not in a pick and roll? Like, I don't like that. It boggles my mind.
It might be a sense of false confidence because he made a few in this Detroit Pistons. Now you want a guy to have confidence, but he shot and made a few in the Pistons series. And now he's starting to think, oh, maybe I can be this, 40% 3-point shooter if I shoot 7 or 8 a game. That's not the case. And so again,
shot 2 for 8.
It's rough.
But, I mean, granted, Harden didn't shoot it any better, and we know he's a shooter. So maybe it's just me and I'm hating, but like that just doesn't scream Evan Mobley to me. Like, if you're wide open, sure, go shoot it. But if you're not being aggressive and getting to the basket, like, and I think that's what changed with the Knicks is that Cat is doing the same thing. He's being aggressive. He's trying to get to the basket instead of shooting more. And it's worked for them. So I don't see why Evan Mobley is any different. I feel like the Cavs would be a better team if he would stay aggressive, and he's not. And he hasn't been. And he's constantly for years now. He's been this 18 and 8 player that and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, he's got the most potential ever." And it's so infuriating because I kind of agree with them, but I don't see it because he's never aggressive like we want him to be.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. Real quick though, D'Lo, let's go to the other side of thing. The Knicks. What do the Knicks need to do to go up 2-0 in this series in game 2?
Not fall asleep. That's all they got to do. Like I said, I don't expect the Cavs to win a game this series. I really don't. I think that the Cavs get swept. But all that relies on, can the Knicks keep it going? Obviously, they had the rust coming out in that second quarter. Obviously, the first quarter, they looked great, and they looked like that complete team that we saw. And then they kind of slowed down and stumbled. But they picked themselves back up in that fourth quarter, especially. They turned it around. So if they can keep that going just throughout the game, I don't envision them losing.
No, it's going to be tough for them to beat. All right, real quick. Gucci's in the comments, and he's got some things to say. He said the Knicks won, but Crybaby Cat has to be better. He does have to be better. He does, and I think he will. He's got to get out of his own head when it comes to the referees. Like, he just got to play through it. Like I know a lot of guys do it, but he's just got to play. It's infuriating sometimes to see him complain as much as he does. Donovan Mitchell was a no-show. He wasn't great tonight. He had moments where he kind of stood out, especially in those second and third quarters. But in the fourth quarter, he didn't make a shot. And his last shot that he made was with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And they played in overtime, fellas. He's got to be better down the stretch. He also says Max Strus is a solution for James Harden. But Kyson, to your point, he doesn't bring the offensive gravity that James Harden brings. And so when you need to score the ball, Max Strus, can't do that for you off the dribble. And he can't create for other guys. That'd be my only gripe with Max Strus, Gucci. Goodness gracious. I want Coach Brown to win because the Kings did do him wrong. The Kings did do Mike Brown very, very wrong after getting him to the playoffs in the first time in 72 years. And then they fired him. That was kind of rough. And D'Lo, you said Gucci said that you said that like OG is weak. I agree with you.
He's weak,
but Evan Mobley, he should be more aggressive when he has a shorter defender, but they probably weigh about the same. OG's a big dude.
Yeah. He is.
Yeah.
But we're acting like Evan Mobley ain't 6'9" and what 2 something 250.
I'd probably give him closer to 6'10", 6'11". Like he's probably
like that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like he's
220.
Yeah,
he is bigger than OG. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Pause.
Yeah,
and he should be aggressive there. Like we're talking, and we're gonna get to it. Like he should have been doing what Wemby was doing, except not as dominant because OG isn't small fry like Alex Caruso. But that's what I want from Evan Mobley. I want him to be that aggressive. I don't want him shooting 8 threes a game. I don't want that. You could get better looks. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
Speaking of which, D'Lo, you mentioned Wemby, and what a game that was last night. The Spurs beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in double overtime in Oklahoma City. They steal game 1 to go up 1-0 in the Western Conference Finals. Kyson, your takeaways from this game, because there were some moments that were like, oh, okay, the Spurs might be the real deal. And then there's some moments where, okay, well, Oklahoma City is being Oklahoma City. They're flexing their muscles. They're going to win this game. The Spurs eventually came out on top. What did you see from this game? Obviously, Wemby stood out. SGA didn't stand out as much. He didn't seem like the normal SGA he was, especially after receiving his MVP award. The biggest takeaways from your point of view from game 1.
Yeah, Wemby's the GOAT. I've seen enough. Like, this dude would be the greatest to ever play. If he stays healthy, like, this dude has rarely any flaws in this game. Can shoot well from anywhere. obviously dominated in the paint. I mean, they had little guys on him, and he did what he's supposed to do. Defensively, you already know his gravity, and he had 3 blocks to go along with it. 23 rebounds, absolutely controlled the glass. But in all seriousness, it pains me to say this. The Spurs are and my favorite team in the division, so I'm going to have to deal with this for the next 10 to 15 years. We just had to deal with Duncan and them. Now we get Duncan reincarnated with an extra 5-6 inches added to his height.
Yep.
So Dylan Harper, oh my God, like this dude, man, like he does not miss anything within 10 feet. Like no layups is being missed with this guy. Like this dude's finishing packages is insane. No matter you got Chet on him, Harnstein, you got don't have a small dude on him. That's free eats.
It's a bucket every time. Every time. It never changes.
Yeah, so his ability to not only get to the rim, but his control. Like he plays at a pace. And those are the most frustrating guys to guard because they don't care what you do. They're gonna do them. And Stephon Castle, you know, I've been hard on him. We've had debates in the group chat between him and Eamon Thompson. Both are great players in my opinion. Castle, 11 assists, 11 turnovers. That's a lot of responsibility he had to take up for De'Aaron Fox. So I wouldn't be too hard on him on that case. But man, like this Spurs team is legit. They are legit. Now, granted, to the point that we made about the Knicks, the Thunder haven't played just as long, right?
Yeah.
So they were definitely gassed. They were not prepared to play a double overtime game, and it showed. SGA was horrible, quite frankly. I mean, 7 to 23 from the field. That double team they were throwing at him was flustering him, and he has to do better. But my biggest gripe for the Thunder is Chet freaking Holmgren. Why are you not guarding Wemby? What are we doing? Like, all right, now, granted, maybe Mark Dano he's obviously better coach than I am. He's in the NBA. And I get it. You want Chet to guard the weak side corner so he can, when Wemby gets the ball on the block, he can rotate and beat a help side defense. And that actually is what got them into overtime is when Chet had blocked it. But in overtime, he tried the same thing, got posterized.
Yeah, and won.
He got absolutely embarrassed last night, and he has to step it up. Like he's got to tell coach, I got that, man. I got it. Because Wemby comes at this man's neck every time they play, and he takes everything personal. And Chet, you got to wake up, bro. Like, you didn't play good on offense. The defense was mediocre for the most part. The Thunder needs you, man. Like, seriously. And obviously, you know, J-Dub coming back kind of put like a wrench into their flow because AJ Mitchell only had 4 points?
He's not getting the ball as much as he was when J-Dub was out.
And we expected that, but
yep.
Man, I don't. And also one more thing. The Knicks, just like you said about the Knicks, the Thunder are loaded. We didn't see Isaiah Joe. We didn't see Aaron Wiggins. Like they still have they still have guys that can change the game, and they didn't include those guys. So I expect the Thunder to come back punching hard. They're gonna have a better game plan for Wemby. But man, and that 30-foot bomb to tie the game in overtime.
Hey, it's something about that spot in OKC. It's something about that spot in the court in OKC. I'm just saying. It's something about that spot. Now, D-Lo, this might be a hot take, but and Kyson, you mentioned Chet. I don't necessarily like the matchup with Chet on Wemby, and here's why. Chet can't keep up with Wemby. He can't. Side to side. He's so much slower than Wemby is. And so I think if you match up Chet with Wemby one-on-one the whole game, Wemby might go for 50. I know he went for 40 in his past game, but he might go for 50 in regulation. Like, and I just don't think he'd be able to keep up with him. Now, obviously, you know, you look at Caruso and you say, you know, he's got almost a foot on him, if not a foot. But I think you throw guys like that at him. The thing I don't agree with is just sticking Caruso on him. Yeah. Okay, one possession, put Caruso on him. One possession, put Jalen Williams on him. One possession, put the other Jalen Williams on him. One possession, put Casey Wallace, like you got to throw different matchups at him to try and throw him off. Because if you throw one guy at him and Wemby's then able to figure him out, that's when you have issues. That's when you start to have problems of Wemby going off for 40 and 26 or 23 or however many rebounds he has. That's when you start getting those problems. But if you throw different guys at him, different matchups at him, and he starts to get confused on, okay, Caruso likes to do this. So when he does this, I go that. Then it starts to get tougher for him. But, I mean, D-Lo, what are we witnessing from Wemby? I mean, this was probably the greatest. I mean, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. The best performance of the playoffs so far this season, in this postseason. And it came in the Western Conference Finals in Game 1 against the defending champs. What are we witnessing from Victor Wembanyama right now?
Greatness. Dude, greatness. And the thing is that I know a lot of us were really skeptical coming in because we thought that experience would play a factor in this. And that a lot of us thought that they weren't ready to compete yet. But here we are.
Yeah.
And they look good. They look ready to compete. They look ready to win. Which is scary for the league, considering their main three pieces of a combined age of 21 years old, younger than us, by the way.
That is terrifying.
What do you do?
Why would you mention that?
Yeah, that wasn't nice. That wasn't
I'm
nice.
just saying.
That wasn't nice. You know that was rude.
They're younger
This
than
is
all of us.
positivity.
They're younger than all of us. You know
Did you guys see? This is the Spurs have the youngest ever starting lineup in the conference finals history.
Mhm.
Oh man.
And it's only gonna get worse, guys. It's only gonna get worse. But no, I mean, we knew what Wemby was gonna give you, right? I mean, not just defensively, where he might even be better offensively, but now offensively, where he's dominating every on the floor. And honestly think that OKC has to do something to change it up for game 2, because you cannot keep putting Alex Caruso and Case and Wallace and any of the small guys that you want to put on Wemby. Like, you can't do that and then sustain the game. Like, you can't do that. It won't happen. Because Chet can't make that rotation every time. And you saw it. He did once or twice, and then there were a few other times where he got yammed on like 2 or 3 times by Wemby. So it's just not sustainable for them to do that. But I also agree with Maul's point, where I think Chet is too slow laterally to keep up with Wemby. So I don't know what they have to do. They might just have to send, a big body like Hartenstein and then a double at him and force somebody else to beat you.
Yeah.
Which sucks if you're in the NBA, because, these are all NBA guys, but what choice do you have? And I know a lot of people have been saying, like I've seen it online, SGA isn't going to play this bad again. And, AJ Mitchell can have his game, but I mean, there are other points that need to be made. Alex Caruso isn't going to shoot the lights out the way he did every game.
Yeah.
Stephon Castle isn't going to have 11 turnovers every game. De'Aaron Fox isn't going to sit out all series long. Like, there are other factors at play to where this series will go 6 or 7 games. Like, if it doesn't go 6 or 7 games, like, I'm completely shocked and baffled.
Yeah, and it's well, actually, real quick, hold on. I gotta get to my dog. John Holiday is in the comments. Moneyball. I assume he's talking about Wemby. Shout out BBF, BBF Holiday on YouTube, BBF Holiday on TikTok. Go follow if you haven't already. But I mean, Moneyball is almost the perfect way to describe it, because Wembanyama, and Kyson, you mentioned earlier, there's nothing he can't do. He just won Defensive Player of the Year. He just had 43 points and 23 rebounds in a game 1 of the conference finals. He didn't make a 3 the whole night. And yet he comes in overtime and pulls from 35 to tie the game. They were down. And he hit from 35 feet to tie the game. There's nothing Victor Wembanyama can't do. The only thing that I would ever have to worry about him is staying healthy. And so far, I think he's been able to do that. Aside from the whole blood clots thing, he obviously that's kind of freak. That's not really, I guess bone structure or hamstring, the like any of those injuries. But if he stays healthy, and I've told you guys this before, if he's able to stay healthy for the next 10, 15 years, I think by that time, he will be the greatest player to ever play this game. I think come 2026, 2027, the conversation will be, is Wemby the greatest player of all time? It will be hard to say no. I really do believe that. I'm sorry, 2037. Did I say 2026?
I'm about to say that's next year.
Yeah.
That's this year, dude. What do you mean?
I'm sorry. I think by 2037, 2038, the conversation will be, is Wemby the greatest player of all time? And I think it will be very, very difficult to say no to that question. And because I think he's going to win multiple rings. I think he's going to win multiple MVPs. It's going to be hard for it to not give him the MVP.
That's what we call it.
Right. Because I think that's going to be his award to lose for the next 5 years at least.
Defensive Player of the Year is locked up for the next 10.
Who's going to win it from him? Who's going to take it from him? You know what I'm saying? Like Kyson, there's nobody in. It's unbelievable how good he is defensively, and that's not just to say that there are not other great defenders in the league. That's obviously there are, but he is just that high above everybody, and I mean defensively especially, it's going to be hard to give it to anybody else because of how good he is. And Kyson, you sent me a text yesterday that I when I read it, I literally laughed out loud. Like I literally chuckled, and you said the Rockets are nowhere near OKC or the Spurs. We might as well tank.
Absolutely.
Is that might be the rest of the West outside of Oklahoma City?
It honestly might be the rest of the West.
Lakers maybe because they got Luka, but
yeah,
I don't even know if that's enough.
Definitely not enough. No, but my thing is like it's not just Wemby though. This team is loaded.
Yeah,
Keldon Johnson. Carter Bryant came in, just low-key locking up SGA.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Devin Vassell shot great. Champagne, this dude he throwing that joint up as soon as he did it. And that's when you have a great player like Wemby, he just gives you everyone just confidence out the world. And to D'Lo's point, De'Aaron Fox is out. That was news to me. Like I'm watching him, like, where's De'Aaron?
Yep.
And you got Dylan Harper who give you 24, 11, and 6.
As a rookie.
And I said this in the group chat. I said, this dude should be on the Nets averaging 21 and 8. Like
easily.
But yet the Spurs, this already loaded team, gets him and he's the backup. I don't know how long that lasts. But
honestly, it might not be too much longer.
No.
This dude's insane.
Because I will say, I think if De'Aaron Fox is in that game, towards the end of that game, I think that the Spurs win in regulation. I don't think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because obviously, you guys know De'Aaron Fox. Now he doesn't have a bunch of postseason experience, but he's always been a clutch player. And whether or not he's making a shot, he's a closer, which means he's going to find the right play. If it's not him taking the shot, he's going to find the best shot for his team in order for them to win the game.
Well, the other thing is that if De'Aaron Fox is playing in that game, Stephon Castle, you're not relying on him to be the primary ball handler, and he does not have 11 turnovers.
100%.
They have, at the very least, 5 less turnovers, which equates to less transition and less buckets given up, and that right there alone is probably enough.
Yeah.
Right? So, not saying that OKC can't compete when Fox comes back, because they obviously can, because SGA played like garbage. He did.
Was not good.
He was awful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, J-Dub was a lot better than I thought he was going to be. He was a lot better than I thought he was going to be, because he hasn't played in a long,
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing if you're OKC. I think that you're going to need the offense that J-Dub will give you as your secondary option in terms of scoring, because you can't rely on Caruso. And as much as I like AJ Mitchell, I don't want to rely on him to be your second bucket getter. Like I don't like that for the Thunder. I think it's good that J-Dub found his footing immediately.
I think he had to, right? And he's gonna have to find his footing even more in game 2, or else this series might get ugly in favor of the Spurs. Because I mean, Kyson, I'm so glad you emphasized this point. This team is so deep. The depth of this San Antonio Spurs team is ridiculous. I mean, how do you have what? You draft Wemby, okay? That was the number 1 overall pick, and then you draft Stephon Castle,
Number 4.
who was the number 5 overall pick, or number 4 overall pick, and then you draft Dylan Harper, who's the number 2 overall pick, and then you also mentioned Carter Bryant, who's the number 11 overall pick this past year. All these guys are very young. You're not paying them. You haven't even had to pay any of them. Now, Wemby's coming up after next season, and so or maybe after this season. But so you're gonna have to pay him eventually, of course. But I mean, he literally might break the record for highest contract of all time. But
It might beat Book. It might beat him.
Oh, there's no might about it, brother. There's no might about it. Wemby's gonna make at least $75-80 million in his next contract a year. And this team is not going anywhere. Not going anywhere. And as a team in the West, and Kyson, I think I can speak. Obviously, I think we can kind of join this together. When are we going to have an opportunity to win? The Spurs and OKC are not going anywhere.
And listen, it's not just the West. It's the NBA.
Yeah.
When is the NBA gonna have a win outside of Oklahoma City and San Antonio?
I think the best chance is this year for the Knicks. And I don't even think I don't know how much of a chance they have this year. But I think this is the best chance that they're going to have.
Yeah, and I mean, everyone's going to point to the NBA Cup and say, oh, the Knicks beat the Spurs in the NBA Cup. It's
that's one game.
2 completely different teams.
Way in November.
From that point. Yeah.
December.
2 completely different teams.
Beat them 4 times in the span of 2 weeks. And then we could talk.
Yeah.
So
And the thing is that the Spurs just have such a great culture too, man. They got literally everybody that's played for them still in the building. Manu, Timmy. I seen Sean Elliott. I'm seeing David Robinson. I'm seeing all these dudes that gave me nightmares for years upon years, still in the building, helping out, making sure these guys are taking care of their business. And with that being said, man, I got a hot take, man. I genuinely think SGA was the best player in the world for like 2 weeks. This dude Wemby is here. He is here. Now, again, I definitely expect. Well, I usually don't have expectations, but I expect the Thunder to, man, they about to be following him. Something they got to figure something out. Like they got to throw him off his game. I don't expect him to have a 40-20 game next game, obviously, but I mean, what do you do? You know. And I also think this next year's MVP. In my opinion, I think this dude was MVP. Played 65 games, averaging 25, 15, and
4
maybe
blocks.
4. Yeah, I was about to say 4 blocks a game.
Yep.
Like he's gonna that performance showed us this guy can average 15 rebounds a game minimum.
Yeah.
And he played 50 minutes. When has he ever done that?
That was the first time in his career, I believe. First time.
You know? So this guy gets accustomed to playing 38, 39 minutes a game. We will be in trouble, man.
That might even be an understatement. I don't know if there's a chance for any team. Speaking of Wemby, though, Kyson, your expectations for Wemby in game 2? Can the Spurs go up 2-0 and steal both games in Oklahoma City?
I personally don't see it for a few reasons. One, I don't think SGA plays that bad. I'm part of that crowd. He's the MVP. We have seen this before where the MVP gets the award and it's just so much emotional. It's very emotional. It's very like just swing of the like just everything. You're just feeling everything. The teammates, the MVP himself. We've seen this before where it kind of just overwhelms you and takes over the game for you. One thing I would give the Spurs credit is that anytime the Thunder tried to get in, they just shut the door, like literally every single time. So I expect the Thunder to play better. I expect SGA to be SGA. I think Chet is going to look at that film and be like, man, I played like a excuse my language, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like he's gonna step it up 100%. I think Mark Dano, former coach of the year, was he the coach of the year this year? I don't think so.
Last year. Or no,
Last year.
2023?
Former coach
Yeah.
coach of the year. He's gonna get back in the film room, let his guys know what they need to do better. And they're home. I don't know if you guys noticed, man. Every fan in there had a blue shirt on.
Everybody.
So that crowd's going to take effect. They're going to play a lot better, in my personal opinion. And yeah, I think I don't think the Spurs can go up 2-0 because I think they're going to really have a different game plan for Wemby. Not necessarily a different one, but like some tweaks, some minor adjustments. I also think the Thunder are going to go deeper into their bench. You know, Hartenstein really didn't play that much. You know, maybe throw him in some more. Jalen Williams, throw him in some more. I'm hoping for a great series, so I think the Thunder bounce back.
Well, yeah, D'Lo, your boy was there, George Kittle. He's apparently a Thunder fan. So, how do you feel about that?
I mean, it's cool.
All right. Well, that's not the reaction I was hoping for, but anyway.
It's cool.
You would rather like the Heat, Jamal.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you want me to do about it?
D'Lo, what does OKC need to do to tie the series up? I mean, you look at them; they lost in double overtime. SGA was not very good, and really, as a team, they didn't play to their record best NBA record best selves. So, what does the Oklahoma City Thunder need to do in Game 2 to tie the series up?
Yeah, I mean, SGA just to find a way to get going, and it's going to be hard considering just the defensive pieces that San Antonio has. Obviously, everyone likes to talk about Wemby, but when you have the guards of Stephon Castle and Devin Vassell and Carter Bryant and Dylan Harper guarding you, who are all good defensive players, it's hard to get going. All right. I know Kev is really high on Stephon Castle defensively, and he sent that image of holding SGA to like 28% or something around that margin when he's being guarded by Stephon Castle.
Yeah.
And he's great. So he's got to find a way to get going, not just offensively, but also from a playmaker role. He made a lot of really awful decisions with the ball. He had a few turnovers, a few stripped balls where he could have, made the correct play and gotten an easy bucket, and he didn't. So he's just got to clean it up. And honestly, I think that's really it. Because, I mean, if he has a good game, I think that they win. I think they win Game 1 if SGA has a good game. So
yeah,
I think that's the main thing. You have to find where that extra offense is going to come from, because obviously Caruso isn't going to have that game every game. So whether that's AJ, whether it's Jared McCain, whether it's the guy I feel like it should be in Chet, because God, I've been waiting for him to offensively explode for literal years now. It's got to be somebody, because if they don't have that sort of production, they also have a pretty small chance, things considered.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm very, very excited to see how Oklahoma City responds in Game 2. And if Wemby can follow this performance up with a similar one, obviously maybe not as great, but some similar performance to help his team win in Game 2 and go back to San Antonio 2-0. But
he's playing Chet. It'll happen. Yeah.
I kind of can agree with that. He kind of owns Chet Holmgren. Real quick.
Yeah, sure.
John, he called Wemby a test tube baby. Hard to argue. I mean, this guy looks like he was built in a lab. It is insane, and for him to move the way that he does at his size, it's not fair. All right, let's stick with SGA for a few minutes. He was awarded the MVP award, and this was his back-to-back MVP award, and obviously coming out the Finals MVP, and the kind of rise that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been on since he has become a part of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Obviously, we know in that trade that was made for Paul George, so that Paul George can go team up with Kawhi Leonard. Obviously, we saw who that worked out for, and we saw who that definitely did not work out for. SGA has kind of added a lot to his resume over the past few years. Again, MVP, now a 2-time MVP, Finals MVP, NBA champion, All NBA. And he has another opportunity to go win another championship this year, as well as another Finals MVP. And I've been seeing this conversation all over the place, D'Lo, in terms of has SGA come into the conversation of top 10 players, excuse me, top 15 players of all time. Where would you rank SGA right now in terms of the greatest players of all time, or if he's even in that conversation of being within the top 20?
Hey, D-Lo,
He's
before you
not.
go, you couldn't go the whole episode without Jamal rage baiting us, man.
I
know
know, and I know, but this conversation is so stupid, and I don't know why we're having it. It's so stupid. No, he's nowhere close to a top 10 player. He's nowhere close. There's so many guys that I would still take. I don't even know if I would say he's top 20.
Yeah, I don't think I'd say that either.
Okay, I get it. He's got 2 MVPs. He's got a ring. That's all cool and dandy. Not everyone has an MVP. But to say that he's a top 10 player of all time because he has 2 MVPs in a ring, are we serious? Are we serious?
People have been glazing
Kobe's got 5 of them, and everyone puts him like around 8.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Tim Duncan has an MVP and multiple rings, and people put him around that range too. Are we saying he's better on not even better, on the same level as a Tim Duncan or a Kobe?
No.
Then why are we having this combo?
You know what?
I'm getting irked. I'm getting irked. I really am.
Let me rephrase this question, and D'Lo, that's kind of the response that I'm glad that you gave, because again, I'm
glad you can get a clip out of this. I'm so glad you can get a clip out of this.
that was kind of the response I was kind of looking for, because a lot of people have been kind of glazing him a little bit. Kyson, let me rephrase the question to you.
They're not glazing, they're slobbering so hard. Yeah. Oh my Lord.
Where would you rank SGA in terms of point guards? Would you say he's in the top 10 greatest point guards of all time? Obviously, that conversation starts with Magic Johnson. It starts with Steph Curry. It starts with guys like Steve Nash and Jason Kidd and Isaiah Thomas and Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook. Westbrook. Would you put SGA above any of those guys? John Stockton. Would you put SGA above any of those guys in NBA history? And is he a top 10 point guard of all time?
Man, that's a tough one. When you look at the top 10 point guards, Magic and Curry, 1 and 2, wherever you want to have them, both have 4+ rings, multiple MVPs. Then you go down from there. You got Stockton, who just has all the stats you can ever have for a point guard. No rings though, no MVPs. IT, 2 chips, no MVPs. Rush, MVP. CP, I think he's second or third in all-time assists. Second or third in all-time steals. J. Kidd made it to multiple finals, never got an MVP. Made it won 1 ring at the end of his career. Man, I think you have to put him in top 10, man. Honestly. Now, I don't look at him as a point guard. I just don't. Now, obviously, I have no choice but to, because he's been playing point guard for the past, 4 to 5 seasons. But I still don't see him as a point guard. I still think they can go get, like, Jerry McCain next year might be there. He's obviously more of a burner guy, but I genuinely think that later on in SGA's career, he's gonna move over to the 2. Move back over to the 2, because he came into the league as a point guard, but Doc made him a 2 guard.
Yep.
And then CP was like, no. Let's go back to that point guard. So I can see him being that kind of James Harden type of thing, where he's playing one position and then transition to the other. But for right now, I think you have to put him in the top 10. Multiple MVPs, one ring. If he wins his second ring, he's 1,000% in the top 10 for point guards. Now, when you're talking about all time, you look at the top 10 all time, each of them have multiple MVPs and multiple rings. So that's the criteria to get in the top 10. Multiple MVPs. Well, Kobe, probably the only guy in there that had him and Shaq. Him and Shaq probably the only two guys that had one MVP, but they're undisputedly.
Which is crazy, by the way.
Man, like especially Kobe, man. Like, how does Kobe only have one MVP?
Because Steve Nash was really good,
and he barely had that MVP in 08. That was LeBron's year. That was LeBron's first coming out year.
LeBron was really good that year too.
You know, so it's just the way the league goes, man. Nash definitely stole one from him, bro. Nash though, is he better than Steve Nash, Mo?
Because of the body of work, I wouldn't put him above Steve Nash right now. I wouldn't put SGA above Steve Nash.
It kind of just depends what you value out of your point guard, though.
Absolutely. That's what I'm
like
saying.
if you want a scoring guard, then yeah, he's better than Steve Nash. But if you want a playmaking guard, he's nowhere close.
Right.
So it kind of just depends on your criteria.
And that's exactly why I don't look at him as a point guard. He's a gunner.
I would look at him as a 2.
Me too.
Yeah. But I think
he's a 2 who just plays the point guard position.
Yeah. Because, I mean, even if you look at the 2s all time, I think he still sneaks into that top 10 shooting guards of all time.
No doubt.
Oh, I also think that list is a lot easier to sneak onto.
Yeah, it is.
We were just
it's very
Klay
top
Thompson.
heavy for the 2 guards. Yeah.
Nope. Oh, SGA way better than Klay Thompson. Way better than Klay Thompson. Way better than Klay.
So he's in the top 10 for shooting guards.
Yeah.
But I think you think of guys that are like that low on the shooting guard list. Like, I feel like it's an easy list to sneak onto. You have the top, 5 that you would consider like the all-time guys. You know, you have obviously the big 3 that's at the top: MJ, Kobe, and Wade, and then you have Harden right after with Iverson right after that. But then it sort of drops, that is where I feel like it's very gettable for him to get on that list.
Yeah. And you know, SGA checks a lot of the boxes you look for in an NBA player, period. Right? He can score the ball, he can play make, he can facilitate a little bit. He's not a cone on defense. He's not great defensively, but he can kind of hold his own at some points in time.
He's a better off-ball defender.
He is. Oh, he is fantastic in the lanes. He is fantastic in the passing.
I won't expect him to sit on a possession
averaging 32
points a game. He checks a lot of he performs in the playoffs as much as we've seen, even in the bubble. Like, I understand, Kyson, your Rockets beat them, and I think it was 7 games, but he was really good in that series. And that was kind of his first playoff experience. And then he's only gotten better from there. He is a player that rises to the occasion. He is a player that performs, and you've seen it, and we've seen it before. And we've seen it so far this postseason, obviously not so much in game 1 of the conference finals, but we've seen him rise to a level in which he needs to be at in order for them to win a championship. And for that reason, again, he checks a lot of the boxes on being a top 10 point guard or a top 10 shooting guard of all time, wherever you put him. But I do think the top 10 player of all time is a joke, and I was kind of tired of seeing this, and so I'm glad we got to put it to bed. I'm glad we got to put.
Glad you got your clip.
Yeah. Thanks, Defoe.
Hey, Ma, did you expect this out of him?
No, I will say, I expected him to be really good. I expected him when they traded for him. It was funny. The first year, his rookie year, I picked him up. And I was playing in a fantasy league, and I picked him up in a fantasy league, and he was really good. And I said, "Oh, this Shea Alexander Gilgeous or whatever, Gilgeous Alexander." Like, that's how like that. I didn't know his name. I didn't know which order his name or whatever it is. But I said he could be pretty good. And I was telling people, I was like, "Oh, look out for Oklahoma City. Like, they might have somebody." But I didn't think it could be this, Kyson. I didn't think he could be this good and this dominant, might I say. in terms of just his scoring ability and his ability to go win basketball games at a high level and at the highest level. I didn't think it'd be this. So it's been fun to watch, though. It's been really, really cool to watch. All right, let's move on to this next conversation, and a conversation in which I'm upset that Tone isn't here to discuss this because I'm really intrigued to see what he would say. But Kyson, this is something you've talked about all season long and really for multiple seasons. Jaylen Brown is reportedly upset with the Celtics. Now, he's come out and said, yeah, I love the Celtics. I want to play. If it was up to me, I'd want to play here for 10 years or whatever it is. But there have been reports that have come out different. There are things that have kind of gone against some of the things that he said publicly. Kyson, is it time for Jaylen Brown and the Boston Celtics to part ways? Obviously, they won a championship. They've achieved the goal that they've looked for. Can they do it again, or have they peaked? And is it time for them to part ways?
Well, let's start from the beginning. They lost in the first round, and Jaylen Brown was reportedly upset because they didn't trust what got them there, which was him and the rotational pieces that they had next to him and things of that nature. But on the flip side, that's not an excuse for how bad he played, right? Like, he was not good in that first round. And then the next day, he hops on live stream and is gaslighting,
Yep.
And that's just not a good look, man. I think the fans were looking for, hey, guys, I apologize, should have played better, things of that nature. Instead, he gave him the opposite. So the fans are very frustrated with him. And then I seen the press conference, I think it was a day later, Brad Stevens wasn't pleased, So we've seen Brad Stevens make some pretty harsh decisions. Trading IT, trading Kyrie. He will definitely get the best out of his players in terms of a package. Do I think they should move on from Jaylen Brown? No. I mean, look what he did. I mean, he got you 40 and 20 without Jason Tatum, who we said is the best player for the Celtics. And he did something that he has every right to be proud of himself. Is he going about it the right way? I mean, I don't think that's for us to judge, but because we're not Celtics fans. But at the same time, this dude has done a lot for your franchise, and he's a great player. He's one of the best two-way players, or not the best two-way player in the league. And I'm looking at Atlanta. I'm looking at who else? Houston. We can 100% use the Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
So I think if you're shopping Jaylen Brown, I think he will find a home easily and a new deal, even though he's already making $70 million. So I don't think they should move on from him, man. I think he played great all year. He didn't have the best series, no, but you got to think about the changes he had to go through. I'm the man. Now I got to cater to Jason Tatum again. I got to get him going. I got to do this, do that, and I wasn't doing that. I was shooting that thing, and then giving it to Derek White when I can. And Derek White wasn't good either, Maybe that has something to do with Tatum. Who knows? But I'll get off topic real quick. I said it. I think Tatum came back too early.
Agreed.
You come back in March, end of March, middle of March, where teams are trying to lose. Like, legit.
Yeah.
So, and then you sit out game 7. And that's a right move long term, but you made a documentary. You made this huge deal just to do that. So Jaylen Brown has a right to feel some type of way. I was doing this alone. Now, yes, I did need you, but damn, I need you most. Where were you?
And I think, Kyson, I agree with you, but I still believe that Jason Tatum should have just sat the season out. I understand they believe they had an opportunity to bring Jason Tatum back and run the East and go back to the championship. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I was kind of singing the praises of the Boston Celtics, quote unquote, saying that they were the best. I did believe that. I did 100% believe that they were the best team in the NBA, and they crumbled in the playoffs. And sometimes that happens. I still do believe at the end of the day that he should have sat out this season and gave himself a full year to be able to recover and be able to adjust and be able to come back fully healthy, go into a full training camp and go into the 2027-2028 season or 2026-2027 season and full form. Now, again, he tried to, he busted his behind to get back, and, he looked good at moments, and then he looked like he was coming off an injury at other moments. But I mean, D'Lo, with how good Jaylen Brown was this season, and Brad Stevens is a genius. He is. Brad Stevens is a basketball genius. So whatever he decides to do, I'm going to think it's the right decision because of all the right decisions he's made previously in previous years. But D'Lo, what do the Celtics do with Jaylen Brown? Is it time for them? Because like Kyson said, it's not going to be hard for them to move him. And they would get what they want back from him just because Jaylen Brown is in the prime of his career, coming off the best season of his career. Is it time to move on from Jaylen Brown? If you're the Boston Celtics and if you're Jaylen Brown, is it time to part ways with the Celtics?
I think it really depends on quite literally one question. And that's, how much confidence do you have in JT's Achilles? I think that's the question. If you have confidence that it'll hold up and he'll perform at the player that he was or even better, why not? Why not get some value for him while, because I think that this is probably as high as Jaylen Brown's value will peak. I don't know if you get any more value out of Jaylen Brown. So when you look at it from that perspective, if you think that JT can still be your guy, I don't see why not. But if you're Boston and you don't have confidence that Jason Tatum, not only that his Achilles will, stand the test of time, but that he has the confidence to play like he was with that Achilles, I think you keep him. He's shown that he can be a number one. So if JT were to go down, you're not, tanking at that point, and you can still be competitive. But I think that's the question that if you're Boston, you have to look at and see, can Jason Tatum still be this guy that you rely on? And if he is, then you go out and you see what you can get for him. And if it's a good enough offer, like we said, Brad Stevens won't make a move unless it's the move that he wants. Then you go out and you make a move. And if not, you keep him because it works. I mean, it's not going to hurt to keep him under contract. Even if he's not happy about it, he'll still play. It's not like the NFL where you could just sit out. You know what I mean? So yeah. I don't see that happening for Boston. But I think if you are going to move him, that's the question that they need to answer first before they do anything.
And I think, and you make a good point, D'Lo. I tend to agree with you. I think this is the highest Jaylen Brown's value will be at. And if you are looking to make a change inside that locker room, now would be the time. Because if you trade Jaylen Brown, say the Spurs lose to the Thunder in the conference finals. Oh, okay, you know what? We need one more piece. Jaylen Brown to the Spurs. If you bring back a Dylan Harper or a Stephon Castle, and you get a couple first round picks, like you get what you're looking for. Or if you trade him to a Rockets and you get back Jabari Smith or Amen Thompson if they're willing to get off that, or you trade Jaylen Brown to one of these teams who has some young assets, not just draft picks, but still very young and up and coming players. Because if you think about it, that's how the Celtics came up. That's how the Celtics got to as good as they are right now. They groomed Jason Tatum. They groomed Jaylen Brown. They brought up all of these guys. They drafted those guys. Now they traded for Derek White, but you look at Peyton Pritchard, and they built around those guys. And I don't know. The other thing, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep this entire squad together. Peyton Pritchard is due after this year. He's looking for an extension. He has 1 year left on his deal. Peyton Pritchard, you're going to have to pay him. And so do you trust some of these young guys? Do you trust the Hugo Gonzalez's and the Jordan Walshes? Do you trust these guys to be able to have key roles on a championship contending team? And that's really the decision that Brad Stevens has to make. Like I said, Brad Stevens might be the best executive in the NBA as we speak right now. I trust whatever decision he makes, but it's not going to be an easy decision.
We all slip up. I think that Anthony Simons trade wasn't the best. They needed him.
For Vucevic?
Yeah, Vucevic was useless.
Yeah.
Essentially.
That's a great point. Yeah. That's a fantastic point because they didn't have scoring outside of Jaylen Brown. Peyton Pritchard had the one game against Philly, who was fantastic.
JT was pretty consistent.
He was pretty consistent. He wasn't Jason Tatum.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And that was D'Lo, that was the thing. Like I kept saying, if you're gonna bring Jason Tatum back, make sure that he's Jason Tatum, not a smaller version of himself, or not a lesser version of himself. Make sure that he is Jason Tatum. If you're gonna bring him back, make sure that he is 100% himself, not a lesser version of himself. And I think we can all agree, and I think Tone would agree, he was a lesser version of himself since he came back from the Achilles injury. And that's why I said keep him out for the rest of the season, because if you're not going to get Jason Tatum at 100%, don't bring him back. And so because of that, he was, he had knee tightness, whether he was overcompensating for his Achilles and he didn't want to put too much pressure on it, which caused the knee injury. He had to sit out the biggest game of the season. And that may not have been the reason why the Celtics lost in Game 7, but I'm sure it had an impact on why they lost in Game 7. And so that's why I continue to say, if you're going to bring Jason Tatum back, make sure you bring him back at 100% himself and not a lesser version of himself, because if you do, there's no point.
And that's the other thing, is that old JT with that knee tightness would have played.
Absolutely.
100%. Million percent.
He played with a sprained ankle against the Heat.
Against the Heat.
23.
Yeah, and he was trash, let me tell you.
And that was what? Game 7. And yeah, he was bad, boy. Oh, he was not good. But he played. And again, I got to give him respect, because, if he believes that he was not healthy enough to play and he didn't play. And what do I say all the time, fellas? What do I say? If you're playing, you're healthy.
Yeah.
If you're not healthy, don't play. And that's what Jason Tatum did. And so now you give him an opportunity to get rest and get healthy, fully healthy for next season. But again, I just don't believe they should have brought him back in the first place.
And that goes back to what I said earlier. Ego. That was an ego move right there. That was hey, me at 80% is better than half the league. Okay. I don't know if you've seen that 7'5" dude in San Antonio.
That night, not that half, boy.
And is top 5. And has proven himself to be a top 5 basketball player in the league.
Ooh.
He had no knees and was hooping. Jamal, no knee. Was getting off.
Maul, I know you hate him, but
okay,
I don't got a point.
I don't hate Anthony Edwards. I don't
You do, and you do, and you're a hater.
I don't think he's. I can name 5 better players in the league. Right,
so you're not gonna put him 7 at least?
I'll put him 7. I'll put him 7, right?
I'll put him 5.
I'll put him 5.
I won't put him above. I won't put him above Jalen Brunson right now.
Would 100% put him above Jalen Brunson right
For
now.
what?
Jalen basketball player.
Jalen Brunson has his team in the conference finals, and he's been playing fantastic. Jalen Brunson just went 7 for 8 in the fourth quarter in overtime in a game 1 to win his team the game.
Awesome. Did he see Wemby? Has he seen Wemby?
Oh, no. That's fair. Wemby. First of all, I'm not arguing Wemby. Wemby is a top 3 player in the league at the least.
We'll see it.
At the
If
very least.
if the Spurs advance, we'll see it. And I want to see Jalen Brunson go 7 for 8 in the fourth quarter and go win them a game.
You know who won Defensive Player of the Year last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's who he's going against right now, and he still went 7 for 8 and had 35.
Yeah, but that's a fake
38.
fraud.
You talking about Mobley?
We're talking about fraud.
Whoa! Does he have
Man,
the
you
MVP
coulda-
award? Does he have the MVP
That
award?
guy's
on
a-
his match
You
last
could have.
That guy's a fraud.
Wemby played with 50 games, not 40 some games. You still could have gave him DPOY last year.
Wemby played 40 games and still had more total blocks than Mobley did.
And everyone.
Hey, I look at MVP. I look at Evan Mobley's mantle, and he has a Defensive Player of the Year on there. And Jalen
And
Brown.
all I'm
That's
saying
crazy.
is he was fraudulent. He should have won it over Dyson.
See, there you go. He definitely should have won it over Dyson. You just a hater.
You
a
damn straight. Damn straight.
Let's talk about another gentleman who may not be happy in his situation. Giannis Antetokounmpo has been put back onto the trade block, and Milwaukee Bucks are listening to trade offers on Giannis once again. Fellas, we have had this conversation multiple times this season because we know how bad the Bucks were this year. We saw Doc Rivers get fired, and Giannis is a top 5 player in the league, and he deserves to be competing for a championship. Here's the question. Where does Giannis compete for a championship next? A lot of people don't think it's Milwaukee. And, there are some conversations. It could be the Knicks. There's some conversations that could be elsewhere. The Heat, whatever the case may be. Kyson, when you look at Giannis and you look at the Bucks listening to trade offers, is there a team that calls, right? You got the list of teams, right? You got the list of teams and you got the number lines, the phone numbers, and you get to pick. Okay, you know what? Well, the Heat are calling. The Knicks are calling. They might be able to give us a good offer. Is there a team that stands out that could be calling the Bucks right now in order to trade for Giannis that you would be more willing than other teams to trade with?
I probably would say Minnesota. Whatever you can give to go get him, do it.
That's
Rudy, bye-bye. Julius, bye-bye. Reminds it, hey, Dante, lay you, my boy. Go recover him. Go back to Milwaukee and recover. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing whatever I have to do to get Giannis. The only people untouchable on the Timberwolves is Ant-Man, obviously, Naz Reid, and Jaden McDaniels. That is it. Everyone else is Terrence Shannon. Terrence Shannon Jr., you got to keep him. He just
you don't think he's untouchable?
I just think
he just provided a lot of value in the playoffs.
He did.
Well, that's what he's saying, right?
That's
what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's untouchable.
Yeah, you need that. You need that off the bench, respectfully. Ayo Dosunmu, he's gone. He played himself out of Minnesota easily. Yeah. So if I'm Minnesota, I think that's the number 1 team that should be gunning for Giannis. The number 2 team is the Golden State Warriors. Steph is still Steph. He's still him, unfortunately. But he's still him, and he needs a sidekick. Jimmy, love you, my boy. Draymond, I'm going to holler at you. Santos, bye-bye. Pods, I'm just kidding. I ain't going to trade Pods.
No, they need to trade Pods.
They need to. They're not going to.
He's terrible.
Yeah, he's not good.
Those are 2 teams I think no matter what, you have to – even Porzingis. It would be nice to have Porzingis and Giannis. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
But it most likely won't happen. Those are the 2 teams. That's what I'm saying. Draymond, you got to go, my boy, because I got Giannis that could do what you do times 20. That handoff, imagine Giannis handing off, dunk, hum.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Then the next time he actually hands it off, Steph, bomb. I think those 2 would be amazing together. Now, granted, the 2 teams I just named are in the Western Conference, and the Western Conference is under construction for the next 10 years because of that alien. And SGA probably has another 3 or 4 years minimum. Jokic is still Jokic. So if I had to go to Eastern Conference team, Miami. I got to go Miami because you're in a situation, you've been in no man's land for a while. In no man's land, even somehow, some way making finals in no man's land. Like I wasn't playing and made the freaking finals. And so that should give you a lot of confidence that if we get one more guy, keep Bam, and get Giannis here, and the East is a lot more open. So I would say D'Lo's team, man, Miami, hey, y'all gotta, it's now or never. We either go tank or we gotta make a splash, like splash. And I think Giannis is that answer for y'all. D'Lo, don't look at me like that, man.
Hey, D'Lo. Here's D'Lo. Tell me more. Here's how I'm describing the look on D'Lo's face. I would love Giannis, but Pat Riley is old and senile, so he's not going to trade for him. So I'm not even going to put any hope in him.
But Pat said he's going to step back this year. I seen the report. Now that was months ago, and we'll see if that sticks or not. But
you funny guys, and you funny, funny guy, man.
Here's the thing, D'Lo. Before you kind of pick off on your reaction to the Heat possibly being a destination for Giannis, I think, and again, this is gonna sound crazy, but I think if you're the Heat and you trade for Giannis, Bam Adebayo might have to be part of that package. And here's the reason why I say that. Is the way that you build around Giannis is you give him some sort of secondary star, some sort, right? And I think Tyler Hero could be that star if he stays healthy. Now, star might be a little bit of an overstatement, but Bam Adebayo does a lot of the things that Giannis does. He doesn't shoot the ball very well, although he's gotten better. He doesn't shoot the ball very well. He is a very, very, very good basketball player, but he's so very similar to Giannis. And I think they wouldn't cancel each other out. They would still be a good team. But down the stretch in the playoffs, when you need you can't go down, because if you go down in a game, you're not going to be able to come back because you're not going to have the level of shooting you're going to need to come back if you're down 15 or 16, 17 points. I don't know how Giannis and Bam would work out together on the same team. That's the only reason why I say that.
I think Hero is a part of that package. Him or Norm, maybe both.
Very well could be the case.
Well, Norm's free agent. I don't think we bring him back.
Nah,
I think he walks.
He might have played himself into a nice contract.
and him and Hero didn't work. They couldn't play together.
Yeah.
And you rather go with Hero. You would much rather go with Hero. Younger, it gives you the same production offensively, if not better.
Man. I mean, D'Lo, where do you think Giannis could be a good fit in Miami, or do you think there's somewhere else that he think? Because I really like the Minnesota one. As much as I hate it, I think Giannis would be a perfect fit in Minnesota. I think he'd be a really, really good fit. But is there somewhere else you think Giannis could go?
In all honesty, I think if it comes to it, I don't think you can count out Boston and do a JB for Giannis flip. I don't think that's outside the realm of possibility. I think Miami has the best trade package for Giannis in terms of the teams that are interested. I think they have a better trade package than Minnesota, because obviously you're getting an all-star in Tyler Hero. You're getting a hell of a potential player in Khalil Ware. And then I don't know. It kind of depends on who they throw in that last slot. I've seen Jovic thrown in there, but I think the more enticing offer is Spurs, who played really well this year.
What about
actually,
Khalil Ware?
Yeah, he'd be in there. Yeah, he has to be in there. I don't think Milwaukee takes the deal if Khalil Ware isn't in there.
I think that's where the phone call begins. I think if you're Giannis, or if you're the Bucks, you pick up the phone and say Khalil Ware. It's a yes or no, and you know what I'm saying. And that's where it starts. If it's a no, you hang up the phone.
And it has to be so. But the thing is that as much as I hate it, Maul, I actually agree with you. I think that a package centered around Bam would be a lot more beneficial to Miami than sending off Khalil Ware. I think Khalil Ware fits better next to Giannis because he is a better three-point shooter than Bam is.
Yep.
We've seen him shoot the three ball. And so if you pair that with Giannis, I think it just works better. Now, listen, all I'm going to say is Khalil Ware hasn't scored 83 points in a game, so I don't know if that's the right idea or not.
There we go. There we go.
Bam, Kobe, Wilt.
Yeah.
I think the thing is that any team that's trading for Giannis is going to give up so much and gut their entire roster that it's just there's no point in trading for Giannis. You're going to give up too much. You're not going to have the pieces to build around, and then you're kind of out of luck. You're kind of in a spot like the Lakers are or the Clippers, where you have this guy who you thought was going to lead you to the promised land, and now you don't. And now you don't have any picks. You don't have any young players. You don't have any of that. And I think that's sort of it's the Rudy Gobert effect, where he caused all of this by getting traded for 5 draft picks, and now every superstar has to go for plus draft picks.
Yeah.
Plus now the young pieces that have to go along with that. It's just not sustainable for a franchise to trade for a player of that caliber without giving a player of a similar caliber, which is why I think that Giannis to the Celtics kind of makes a lot of sense, because you don't have to give up as much if you're Boston, because you're giving a player of similar value. Obviously, Jaylen Brown is not on the tier of Giannis, but you won't have to add 5 or 6 draft picks to Jaylen Brown to get the Bucks to say yes. So that's why I think that they're such an enticing place, especially if you're Milwaukee and Boston is looking to move off of him. But I think if they're not, I think the two that you're looking for, is either Miami or Minnesota.
I'll tell you what, boys. I'm going to mention a team that I haven't heard be mentioned as often as they probably should have been
Phoenix.
mentioned. As much as I would love that, as much as I would love Giannis to come to Phoenix and play with the Suns, the Suns don't have nearly enough to give up for Giannis. They don't have the picks. They might have the assets. I mean, I guess you could throw Jalen Green in there. You could throw Ryan Dunn in there. You could throw Grayson Allen or Royce O'Neal. But they don't have the picks, right? In Milwaukee, they're looking for picks. They're looking for future assets. The team that I'm looking for that kind of could use Giannis right now, the Detroit Pistons. And I haven't heard too many people name the Detroit Pistons as possible contenders for Giannis, but you can see how much they needed another scorer, another star on that team. Because you look at them in Game 7 of Cleveland against the Cavaliers, they had nobody to go along with them. Tobias Harris was horrible. Jalen Duren was not good. The only guys that kind of came along were Duncan Robinson and Isaiah Stewart. I don't want to rely on those guys behind Cade Cunningham. But if you trade for Giannis and you get off of Asar Thompson and you get off of Tobias Harris and you give Milwaukee 4 or 5 first-round picks, I think pairing Cade Cunningham and Giannis Antetokounmpo could be a very, very dangerous combination in the East, especially to go and win the East. I think the Pistons should at least look into it. I think they should call and say, hey, you know what? I'm not saying we're willing to do it, but what would we have to give up? What would we have to give up for Giannis? I think there should at least be a conversation had between the Pistons and the Bucks for Giannis. Because, I think Cade needs another star. Now, is Giannis a better player? I believe so. Does Cade need that right now? Possibly not. But at the same time, if Cade wants to win, he needs another star. And it wouldn't be so bad to have a player like Giannis to play with and to possibly help you get over the hump to get to the NBA Finals and possibly win the NBA Finals.
So Duren is gone.
Who?
Duren.
You think so?
In that package, yeah, you gotta. That's the number one. That's what we started.
I think he's the number one. I think the Bucks say, "Hey, you better give us a SAR first."
Honestly, with Giannis, I think you can give up both. If you could give up both Asar and Duren, and you give up Asar, Duren, and 2 first-round picks, and maybe like 2 seconds, I think that'd be enough for Giannis. You still keep the shooting that you have. You still keep Tobias Harris and Duncan Robinson, Dennis Jenkins, Karis LeVert. You still keep those guys, and you just kind of ride with what you got. And except this time, you have an all-time great player with you alongside Cade Cunningham. I think the Pistons could absolutely be in on this, and I think they should. I think that'd be the smart move for them. So. That is where Giannis could possibly go. I think again that'll be an ongoing conversation throughout the offseason. If he's going to stay in Milwaukee or if a team is actually going to show up and show out in terms of making an offer for him. But speaking of trash teams, let's get to the NBA draft lottery. Now, there were a lot of storylines behind this. Obviously, boys, this is one of the most loaded draft classes that we've seen in a very, very long time. And we saw the draft lottery. The Wizards got the number 1 pick. You saw the Pacers don't even have a first-round pick after after tanking and losing all those games. They lost it when they traded for Zubox, which was a top 4 protected, and the Clippers got the 5th pick. And so, I mean, the biggest storyline to the draft lottery. I think the Pacers losing their first round pick was probably the biggest storyline. But at the same time, you look at the loaded draft class that this is. You look at the AJ DeBances, you look at the Cameron Boozers, the Caleb Wilsons, the Keaton Wogglers, the Darius Acuff Juniors, the
second overall pick,
the Darren Petersons. Like, you look at these guys and you see how much of a difference that they can bring to these organizations. I mean, D'Lo, when you look at the draft lottery and you see the teams that are going to be selecting high, in the top 5, in the top 6, that could get one of these, generational, quote unquote, guys could be generational players. What stands out to you the most?
Listen, I was telling you about this prior to coming on the pod today, and you were kind of excited for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been high on him since the college season really started. And I'm saying, Cameron Boozer is, my highly touted draft prospect. Like, I would pick him if you're, a team like the Pacers, where you have Tyrese, you have Pascal, you just need that one more sort of a floor piece that could just come in and contribute right away. But looking at how the draft order came out, I don't think he's a top 3 pick in with this draft order right now. Obviously, AJ and Darren Peterson will be 1 and 2, and even in that sense, I've seen things of Washington wanting to trade down and give Utah that number 1 pick. AJ stays in Utah where BYU is at, and they, whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Washington gets their guy at 2 anyway, because apparently they've wanted Darren Peterson this whole time anyway. So you get that guy, you get more pieces that you can bring around and continue to build out this roster of Trae Young and AD, SAR. You add Darren Peterson and any potential prospects that you get back from Utah. And you go from there. And in the East, I think that's fine, and you can compete with that. But I think when you look at that 3rd pick, it's not clear. Memphis has that 3rd pick.
Yep.
And obviously they traded away Jaren Jackson Jr. Ja Morant will probably not be on the Grizzlies come the start of the season. I don't expect him to be a Memphis Grizzly when the season starts back up in October. So when you look at that from that perspective, and Ja's trade value is really in the dirt, is taking a guy like Cameron Boozer at 3, where he has a high floor, but he doesn't have the highest ceiling among prospects. Is that something that you're willing to do? And if I'm Memphis, I'm looking at that and saying, well, if we're trading Ja, we already traded Triple J. We need a guy who could potentially come in and be that franchise guy. And I don't know if Cameron Boozer is that. But a guy with a lot of upside is a guy who's projected right behind him, Caleb Wilson.
Yeah.
He has probably the 2nd or 3rd highest ceiling in this draft, and he's right up there with Darren Peterson and AJ DeMansta in terms of just untapped potential.
He's a problem.
He could be the 3rd pick. I could see Memphis fooling everybody and not taking Boozer and taking Caleb Wilson instead, and saying, this is our guy of the future. This is a guy we'll build around. He's got the upside to be a great 3 in the league. And then the Bulls are stuck at 4 with a guy that they could really use anyway, because they've got too many guards anyway. So I think that that's something to look for in terms of just the high draft picks. I think Darius Acuff actually falls a little bit, because I think Keaton Wagler, just based off of the combine, has been just more enticing. But I think the other thing is Oklahoma City at 12. mock drafts are predicting them to get Yaxel.
Axel on the board. He would
Imagine
fit
that.
perfectly. He would fit perfectly with Oklahoma City.
And they still got Somber.
Oh,
Yeah. So another thing to look out for there is Oklahoma City at 12 and getting Yaxel if he falls that far. But I think the biggest thing to me as just an Arizona kid is Koa Pete. He is falling dramatically. He's projected like super late round. I think I saw him at like 27th through 30th, which
scouts
is
are reportedly
crazy.
telling him to go back.
Oh yeah, they're telling him to go back to Arizona and work on his game.
Yeah. That's what he needs to do.
And you want to know what it is? He can't shoot.
No.
The thing we were telling him that we were saying we have to see it. He has to shoot the ball in the tournament and show the scouts that he can do that because that's what the NBA is. And he didn't. And you know who did and is projected to be a top 10 pick? His teammate,
Braden
Burries.
Yep.
He's projected top 10.
Yep.
So, I mean, another thing to look out for, I wouldn't be shocked at this point if Koa Pete goes back to Arizona.
I hope he does. I really hope he does. But I mean, Kyson, again, looking at this loaded draft class, is there any sleepers that you look like, or even who's the player that you're most intrigued by going into this draft? Obviously, again, you have the big names. You have AJ DeBenza, you have Darren Peterson, you have Darius Akov Jr. You have the big names, obviously, and that could very well be your answer because of how good this class is. But is there a guy that stands out to you the most, and where do you think the best fit would be for him going into this draft?
Man, I'm looking at the lottery, and before I start, man, if you're Sacramento and Brooklyn, that's tough, man. That's tough. They were trying to win. They just suck.
Yeah, they're just not good.
You know, and then also Indiana. I was saying, man, if Indiana get the first pick, man, it would be scary.
Yeah.
You know, you basically traded the top 5 pick for Zubac. So we'll see how that works. But I'm part of the Cam Boozer fan club, man. I think this kid will be special. He reminds me of a bigger Jason Tatum in weight-wise. Jason Tatum was a solid playmaker in college. Defense was amazing. Jason Tatum is more athletic than Cam Boozer, but Cam Boozer has a pace to his game and an IQ to his game that will translate, no doubt. I'm looking at their lottery. This might be a hot take, but I'm concerned for Darren Peterson. Now, we've seen reports he was catching full body cramps. His motor was questioned and things of that nature. I just don't see where he fits with Washington. They got a bunch of guards.
Yeah.
They got Trae Young, Trey Johnson, Bub, Kaishan George. You know, he's small for 3, but can play the 2. Like, that team is loaded. AJ, boop, plug and play. You get AJ on this team. Oh my goodness.
He could play. He could play off the ball, Kyson. Like he could play. He could play on the ball or off the ball.
Trae Young
did it perfectly.
Trae Young and Bub,
Oh.
the 2. You can argue those 2 are top 15 playmakers in the league already. Bub, like he's past first guy. Trae Young, we've seen what this guy can do. 19 assists, 18 assists in the game multiple times. AJ in this situation would be amazing. Utah, I've heard they've been aggressively trying to get AJ. I'm looking at Darren Peterson. Memphis, replace him with Ja, right?
Yeah,
Because you need a dude that's gonna fill him seats in, and he gonna do that easily. He's gonna get on the NBA diet. He's gonna get better nutrition, better advice on how to handle things because he was having issues with creatine, taking way too much protein shakes, creatine, and it's not hydrating enough. Them trainers in the NBA don't play that.
No.
I need you here tomorrow at 8 so we can go over this, and then at 9 we're going to eat, and then so on and so forth. So I'm looking at Utah. If they can't get AJ, why not get Cam? I genuinely think this dude can arguably be better than AJ. Like, I'm just seeing certain things that translate. Playmaking translates in the NBA. You know how to get guys going on a consistent basis, you are going to be fine. This is exactly why Jason Kidd had Cooper Flag playing point guard first half of the season. Wemby playing point guard his rookie year. Because facilitating the gravity that you're going to have is going to be so important. I'm going AJ 1, I'm going Cam 2, Darren 3, and then I think Chicago gets the boy Caleb Wilson at 4, and he's a special player. I just think, what do you do with Giddey? You know, if you do get Caleb Wilson, you know, I just don't see those two guys working out. You know, that's my only gripe on that. But Darius Acuff, I mean, I can honestly see him dropping. I think teams are gonna overthink the size thing, pick your boy Wagler instead, and I can see him going. What if the Thunder get him?
No, please no,
He
please
won't
God
drop that
no.
far.
Oh no, oh my God, no.
I think the Kings. No, he won't go past 7.
He won't go past the Kings.
Yeah, the Kings are behind him.
You know, I agree with a lot of what you guys said, and I think the guy, I don't know if he intrigues me the most, but he intrigues me a little bit. Is the guy that you guys kind of both mentioned was Keaton Wagler, and just because he's so young, I mean, this kid is going to be 19 by the time the season starts. He's very, very young, and he's ridiculously skilled. He is very, very skilled. He showed that at Illinois by bringing them to the Final Four. He was very, very good. He was probably the biggest reason why Illinois got to the Final Four this season. And, you know, I you know, shout out Lauren. She's a big Illinois fan and Keaton Wagler fan, but he's really, really good. He can score the ball. My biggest problem with Keaton Wagler is he's got to get bigger. He's very, very, very small right now. He's undersized. He's 6'5", so he's tall. He's lanky. He's athletic, but he's got to get stronger if he's going to compete in this league. Now, the kind of, I would say the place that intrigues me the most is that number 5 slot in with the Clippers. Now, I understand they have Darius Garland right now. They traded for him. And I know they have Ben Mathurin, but I think he is a free agent. I can't remember if he's unrestricted or restricted. He's a free agent. But you put him with Kawhi, you don't have to force him into any number 1 option scenario immediately, because you can still give the ball to Kawhi Leonard and let him go to work if he stays healthy, as long as he stays healthy. Keaton Wagler really, really intrigues me. Caleb Wilson, I think, is another guy, because you look at his game, and I think, you know, he could fit well with the Bulls because they need a big guy. They need a bigger forward. They have a bunch of guards over there. They need a big guy that could go get you a bucket, that could play some defense, that can defend the rim, can defend on the perimeter. And he's kind of that all-around player that the Bulls need. And again, I think AJ is the best player in the draft. I think Darren is not too far behind him. Cam Boozer obviously is really, really good. But I'm really intrigued to see where Keaton Wagler goes, just because he is so young, and he has a lot of untapped potential. Excuse me. And I think thank you. And I think he could be an absolute problem if he falls into the right hands in the league. He's really, really good. All right. Well, we got a few minutes left. We don't have to talk about it for too long. But this news came down today. Kyson, you mentioned Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd has been released, has been fired as the Dallas Mavericks head coach. They've decided to part ways. And obviously, Kyson, you mentioned the decision to make Cooper Flag kind of the point guard, the main ball handler early on in the season, and that did not work out very well. The Dallas Mavericks obviously were not very good this year. They traded Anthony Davis. Kyrie Irving did not play coming off the torn ACL, and they did not win a whole bunch of ball games. Kyson, I'm glad that you didn't know that. I'm glad that this is the first time you're hearing this. So what is your genuine initial reaction to Jason Kidd being fired as the head coach of the Mavericks?
Yeah, that's news to me, man. That's crazy. You look at J Kidd. He's a solid coach. I won't put him up there with the Mark Danos, the Mazzulas, the great coaches in the league. But he's a solid coach. He made it to NBA Finals. He's been able to coach great players like Luka, Cooper, Giannis, so on and so forth. But this is telling me that Dallas is about to do everything different. Everything, right? You cannot say Jason Kidd didn't have a say in that Luka trade. There's just no way we're going to sit here and not believe that. You know, like this dude definitely has some say so in that Luka trade. He can play like he didn't, but I think that left a sour taste not only for the fan base but for the front office. Like, you said that trading Luka would be a good thing. You was part of that group, so
Yeah.
I think they just want to get rid of everything that has a scent of Luka, and because Cooper Flag's legit, man. Like this
Oh,
dude's
oh
this
my
dude is
God.
nice. He's gonna have a no. I think next year he'll have a rough start because sophomore slump usually happens, but he's gonna gain traction and he's gonna have a great season next year. I just to me though, Jamal, this tells me that Dallas is about to do everything different. They're about to trade Kyrie. They're about to basically, I feel like they're about to flush this roster, like and make a whole new roster for Cooper. They might be very aggressive in free agency, and I think they're gonna find a coach that's gonna bring a new culture for one, and also embrace Cooper as that guy. And once again, Luca getting traded was so devastating. I don't want anything in this building, in this organization that was even close to him. Right? I don't want
Yeah.
players like I can genuinely see them trading a lot of players that played with Luca. They got rid of the GM. They got rid of just about everybody that was there when they made the championship. So this is shocking, but I can definitely see them just starting a new regimen, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, I think this will probably go down as the worst trade in sports history.
Easy.
And for them to lose a guy like that at 25, being a top 5 player, depending on who you ask, in the league, after coming off of a NBA Finals run, and to trade him for as little as you got back for him, I think it will go down as the worst trade in sports history. But D'Lo, your reaction to Jason Kidd being fired as the Dallas Mavericks head coach?
Bye.
Yeah.
We'll see you later.
Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm Dallas confuses me because obviously you have Cooper Flag, you'll have Kyrie coming back, but just how the roster is currently constructed and the play style that they play with and want to play with Cooper Flag is it gonna win you anything in the West, especially with the two juggernauts that are going to be there for years to come. And I kind of agree with Kyson. I don't think that they can. I don't think that a duo of Cooper Flag and Kyrie will allow you to compete with teams like that. So I think that they do that. I wouldn't mind if they traded Kyrie to a team that wants to contend and they get assets back. They start to unload a little bit and hope that the ping pong balls fall their way.
Yeah.
I think that's the only option right now if you're any other team in the West is try and unload and see what you can do unless, you're in a win now mode like some teams are. Golden State, they're in a win now mode because Steph is only getting older. Gonna have to go. New York, you're in a prime position. You have to go. Teams like that.
Yeah, and Kyson, I really like the point that you made on just getting rid of everything Luka related. Jason Kidd, because to your point, there's no way Jason Kidd didn't have a say on trading Luka. There's no way. That being the head coach of the basketball team, there's no way he didn't have a say in trading Luka. And so obviously that turned out to be a horrible decision. And it's time to move on. I think what the Mavericks do from here, I think you go find a young coach, one of these young assistants. I really, 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 really like, I think his name is Sean Sweeney in San Antonio, with the assistant coach. I think he would be a very good fit in Dallas with Cooper Flag.
Shout out Doc Rivers.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll tell you who not to go get. His name is, I'll tell you who not to go get. His name is Doc Rivers.
Hey, Royal Ivy in Houston.
Yeah.
He was the coach for South Sudan in the Olympics.
Really, was he?
Yeah. He had those boys playing good, man.
Yeah, and he's done wonders with that team, with the development of that team, with the men and Jabari Smith. And he's done wonders developing that basketball team. That would be another great option. Again, I think you just have to go get one of these young coaches. Rondo. Oh, man, that'd be interesting. That'd be very interesting because, again, he's relatable. He knows what it's like to play at the highest level in this league. He knows what it's like to develop in this league. And he's done that as a player in this league. Now, if he's let's see if he can do it as a coach, which again, if you could do it while you're playing, it's hard for me to imagine that you wouldn't be able to do it as a coach when your job is specifically to coach and develop these players. But again, I think the Mavericks got to find somebody to develop this kid, man, and make sure that they get the best out of Cooper Flag. And if they don't do that, they are SOL. And I don't know where they go from here. And so because of that, this did kind of surprise me though. Jason Kidd did kind of surprise me, him getting let go, because it's so late. Like I think if they were gonna do that, maybe something happened in the meantime, between time from now and when the season ended. But I'm not surprised by that it happened. I'm surprised when it happened, if that makes sense. So Dallas Mavericks are moving on from Jason Kidd, and they are moving in a different direction to try and develop the young prospect, the young generational prospect, Cooper Flag. And with that, that is going to close out this episode of Gumball Sports Machine. Thank you all for watching. Hey, boys, I don't want to speak for you guys, but it felt so good to be back.
Absolutely.
It felt so good to be back. Love seeing you guys again. Of course, love doing the show with you guys as much as we do. It felt really, really good to talk about everything that's going on with NBA, and then we'll get to more NFL as OTAs go on and as NFL free agency hits here in about a month or so or whatever it is. Oh no, I'm not NFL. No, NFL free agency already hit, but as we get closer to training camp. But thank you all for watching. And as I always say, if nobody else is going to tell you, I'll tell you. I love you. You matter. And you have a purpose. Strive for happiness and be grateful. Oh, go D-backs. Hey, I don't know if you guys saw me. I kind of got caught up. I got Sports Center on in the background, and they showed Ketel Marte hitting a walk-off.
That grand slam? Ooh-wee.
Yep. Oh, my God. Oh, they got hot again. They've gotten hot again. So hopefully they can keep it up. They clinched the series today with the Giants. So hopefully they can finish off the sweep tomorrow. That'd be nice. But
San Fran.
Get him out of here, Kyson. Get him out. Get him out. Hey,
D-Lo, you like the Giants?
Huh?
You like the Giants, D-Lo?
No.
You're a Diamondbacks fan, right?
Sure. I'm not really.
Yeah, that's all we needed.
Not really a fan of any one team in baseball. I kind of just watch,
I think he's more a player. Like I know D-Lo loves Paul Skeens.
Who
Paul
does?
Skeens.
I know he loves Paul Skeens.
Shout out Yamamoto.
Yamamoto is a problem too. I hate that he's on the Dodgers, but I love watching him pitch because he's amazing.
Great guy.
This dude named the slugger from Chicago for the White Sox.
Oh, Murakami. Boy. Hey, he's a problem. He leads I think he's like second or third in the league in home runs right now. He's insane. Munetaka Murakami. He's really, really good. He had a tank here. He had a couple tanks here actually when they came here. He had a couple absolute bombs. So baseball's back. Love and Kyson, that is a sharp hat, brother. That is a sharp hat, my boy. Hold on. Let me get my hat out here.
Sir.
Got the D-backs love. Ketel Marte hit a walk-off three-run home run today. So definitely love.
So one thing we can agree on, Ma.
And you know what? And I love it. If there's anything that we agree on, I'm glad it's the D-backs, brother. And we still got to catch a game 2 this season before the season's over.
Let me know.
That. If nobody else is going to tell you, I will tell you I love you. You matter and you have a purpose. Strive for happiness and be grateful for what you do have instead of upset about what you do not. And of course, if you don't mind hitting that like button, tapping that subscribe button, and following us on all of our social media platforms. We are on all social medias: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Gumball Sports Machine. Kyson, I know you're on all social medias, you're Instagram, Twitter, D-Lo, same thing. No Love D-Lo, and then Magnificent on Instagram. Okay, and then what is it on Twitter again, Kyson? Your Twitter?
We'll just put in the link.
Okay,
Put it in the description.
We'll put it in the description in the comment section. But yeah, go ahead. We post all the time on social media, so go follow our social medias. Of course, YouTube as well. But for my boy, my dog, and the man we call Flip Say Less, David Largo, aka co-host D-Lo, and of course for our expert analyst, there's nobody that breaks down the game better of football and basketball. There's nobody that breaks it down better than our expert analyst, Killa Kyson. Look at him analyzing like he always does. There's nobody better, people. Nobody better in the business. And for yours truly, Jamal Gumo, aka Gumball, aka Mr. You Know Gumo. As I always say, it is nice to be important, but it is much, much more important to be nice. We will be back sometime within the next few days reacting to the conference finals and the alien that Wemby is and the juggernaut that the Knicks are and the Thunder and the Cavs. We'll see you all soon. Oh, hold on. I don't have the outro already. I don't have the outro.
We couldn't go an episode.
Oh, God.
without a mouth.